What's up guys, it's Dwayne from Mountain Buck. Today we're unboxing and assembling the brand new TemprX from Killer Instinct. This is an ultra narrow and powerful crossbow that's also budget friendly. We're going to unbox and assemble this today. I'm also going to do a full review video on this, so check back for that. But for now, let's get into this box. Of course, they give you an instruction manual here. And here is the riser right out of the packaging. And I have to say, they've really packaged this thing up very nicely. They've taken a lot of time and effort to make sure this thing is cushioned up with this bubble wrap here and strapped down with those zip ties here. And it is solidly in that box. First thing you're going to notice here is that nice kind of black, white, and gray camo on the side there. You also have the Killer Instinct. You have these limb dampeners on either side to reduce the noise and vibration. This thing is ultra narrow. Look how narrow that thing is. It's narrow when it's uncocked at just over 10 inches and ultra narrow when cocked at 6 3/4 inches. Love how they do that with the X-Cam system here. Here we have the X-Cam system, nice symmetrical round cams on there. That's gonna make things nice and quiet when you shoot with less vibration after the shot. Here we have our quiver and the mount and bolts that come with it. And here is the TemprX stock. I really like this nice chunky foregrip on here. You have these little rubberized components here in the handle, the cheek rest here, and in the buttstock here. Nice little rubberized grippy. You can see the gray material on there. That is all a nice thin rubber, and you also have it up here on this foregrip, along with that really nice chunky handle. Of course, you have one of my favorite features of Killer Instinct, which is this ambidextrous safe on here. So on either side, you have this safety mechanism where you can flip this thing on from safe to fire. I really like that. Of course, you have your Picatinny rail up top here, where we're gonna mount our scope. So right on the rail here, they have a sticker with a QR code, which is another element where you can watch some instructional videos on how to put this together. They also have one down here on the foregrip as well. They give you 2 of these Killer Instinct hyper bolts here, and they have this new V-track knock up top there, which is interesting. That's something new that they're doing with their bolts as well. Looks like they have a little bit longer ears coming off here in those V-track knocks. Here is our scope case. And in this little package here, we have our foot stirrup, our cocking rope, a little tool in there, some lubrication, a stick for the rail, and some nuts and bolts. All right, let's put this thing together. First up, we're going to attach our cable slide here onto the cables of our riser. So I don't know if you could see this here, but there is a deeper groove there on this side, and that is intended for the top cable. So we're going to insert it just like this, snap it into place, and then you want this groove here facing up toward the top of the riser where your bolt's going to come out from. So we are sliding our cable slide right into this channel here, all the while making sure the string on top stays on top of the rail. And then we could slide it directly in place and make sure we are all nice and lined up with our string on top and our cable slide in position. Next, we're going to bolt this in place with 2 of these 3/16 bolts right here. All right, it says do not over tighten there. You want to apply a maximum of 2 foot-pounds of torque when tightening the riser hardware. Next up on the bottom here, we're going to put this little bolt right inside here just to make sure we've locked everything down completely and that riser is not going anywhere. All right, all 3 bolts are tightened here, and I really like this little tool they give you that definitely helps out and is definitely an upgrade over what used to come in the box. Next up, we're gonna add in our foot stirrup. You wanna make sure you're using the side with the notches on them because they're gonna go in where the screws are. This other side has no notches. This side here has the 2 notches. Push it all the way in. Make sure you're nice and secure, and then we're going to tighten it down. Next up, we're going to install our scope here, and they do give you a 4x32 Lumix scope. And our scope is mounted on there really nice and ready to go. Next up, we're going to add in our quiver. And I always just like to line it up first to make sure I'm mounting this thing the correct way before I actually install it. All right, yep, and we're going with the offset quiver mount. I like it like this. So when you're holding your crossbow, you have your bolts right here and they're out of your way. All right, it's a little bit tough to see in there. You have these really tiny nuts on there and the bolts coming through and not a lot of room. But you just kind of stick these in, put your finger over top, and push that bolt through and kind of screw it in. You'll eventually get there. All right, so there it is. Check it out, the TemprX, looking awesome. I love the styling on this. I love that black, gray, and white camo up top on the riser on the side there. You get those 2 hyper bolts with the new V-track knocks on the side there. The X-Cam system on there, a nice round symmetrical system that's gonna be a lot quieter and provide less vibration after the shot. You have these rubberized components on that big chunky foregrip, the pistol grip there, the cheek rest, and the buttstock, nice gray rubberized components. You also have the DSC crank capability if you want to get that and add that into the buttstock there. You have the safety features, you have the safety wings here, making sure your hands and your fingers are out of danger. You also have this ambidextrous safe on here and the anti-dry fire mechanism inside. You also have a 3.5 pound crisp clean trigger. You have this 4x32 Lumix scope on here. It weighs in at 7.6 pounds. The draw weight is 195 pounds and it has a 13.5-inch power stroke. This thing has plenty of power with speeds up to 405 feet per second. This TemprX is ready to go, and I want to know your thoughts on what you think of Killer Instinct's new crossbow, the TemprX. Let me know in the comments below, guys, how you feel about this slick little crossbow with that nice camo styling on the riser. I will be doing a full review video on this, so make sure you check back for that. As always, the links to items to talk about are in the description below. Guys, do me a favor, hook me up and hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.